Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Orlando, Florida. Welcome to Wednesday Night Evolve. We have a fantastic night planned out for you guys. Gonna go ahead and up with a nice match. We have a number one contenders match for the Women's Evolve Championship. Three of the top women who currently do not hold the Women's Evolve Championship in this match, battling it out, fighting it out, looking to become the next number one contender to face off against Callie Armstrong, the current WWE Evolve champion. Up first, a creepy, crawly, sleepy nightmare, Wendy Chu. She, ever since Evolve started on the channel, we have seen that she is a different breed. She's not just here for the victories and for the championships. She is also here to bring pain to her opponents. We saw that against one of her matches against Calix, where she didn't care about getting disqualified, getting the victory, giving Calix the win. She went ahead and caused herself to get disqualified by using weapons. But she didn't care. She wanted to just simply cause pain to her opponents. That is dangerous. You know why? Because in a triple threat match, there are no rules, no countouts. There's no disqualifications. That means weapons and all these things. This is literally Wendy Chu's playground. Perfect for her in order to become the number one contender. So here in tonight's match, definitely you have to look out for the other two, but Wendy Chu has a slight advantage because she is not just worried about winning. She wants to, put a lot of pain and agony onto her opponents in this type of triple threat match where anything goes. She has that advantage. She has that home field advantage, home court advantage. Up next, probably you could say representing the face of Evolve, the main faction here on Evolve, the Vanity Project, the real deal Zeta Steel. One of the members, Jackson Drake, already currently holds the Men's Evolve Championship. The other two members, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes, a tag team by the name of Swipe Right, will also be competing in a different match. That's to come later tonight. It's a number one contenders match for the Evolve Tag Team Championships. And the third, well, hold on, let me slow down. Let's go ahead and talk about Zeta Steel. We already see some gold on one of the members. She's here in number one contenders match. Swipe Right in a number one contenders match later tonight. Vanity Project wants gold, which means they're willing to do whatever it takes to do it. And that includes having the men get involved in this match. So Zeta Steel's advantage is that she has more likely than not the numbers game. Will they get involved? I'm not sure. I hope not, but that could be her advantage. Last but not least, in this triple threat match, we have Kendall Gray. Her advantage is just her skills and her ring IQ. Sure, Wendy Chu has the advantage of fighting hard, playing dirty. Zeta Steel with the numbers game, and the fact that Vanity Project has always been at the top. Zeta Steel, her simple thing is just being herself. She has been blessed by God with some beautiful attributes, especially when it comes to wrestling. She dominated in wrestling in high school and college and has done so here on Evolve as well. So it's Maniac versus person who has been at the top forever versus person who worked her butt off. Three great superstars. Number one contenders match for the Women's Evolve Championship. Opening match, and it has begun. Wendy Chu, Zeta Steel, Kendall Gray, who will come out on top and become the new number one contender for the Evolve Women's Championship. And then, well, of course, the winner of this match will go ahead and face Callie Armstrong. And to be determined date, we are still not sure. At the moment, we don't have any PLEs of sorts or special shows and events for Evolve. We have been in talks with the GMs of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the Prime Minister of Evolve, all trying to brainstorm alongside Triple H and other creatives on if we want Evolve to go ahead and have special, events or PLEs of sorts, if we want them to just add on to NXT ones, or how we want everything to look and work, as Wendy Chu looking for the pinfall here. Quick kick out by Kendall Gray. So yeah, for the moment, still no special events or PLEs or any of that, but it is in the talks. It is something that could be happening, and we'll go ahead and see if it does or doesn't. But for now, gonna have to just stack up regular Wednesday night Evolve shows, which means every single week is bound to be phenomenal. It's not like other promotions where every week is kind of bland because they're just building up rather than just showing up, if that makes sense. Trying to build up to the big events to gain more money rather than performing and executing week in, week out, whether that affects that big show or not. Not to say names, but some promotions, as Wendy Chu at the moment taking control of things, able to knock down both Zeta Steel and Kendall Gray, as Kendall Gray hops outside of the ring in order to catch her breath a little bit. This allows now Zeta Steel to potentially get on the attack. No, Wendy Chu able to move out of the way right there now. We see Kendall Gray with a big old kendo stick. Now there are 3 kendo sticks inside of the ring. We could go ahead and have a whole lightsaber battle inside of this match, and it is at the moment Kendall Gray, I believe a bleeding Kendall Gray, which is pounding and destroying her opponents at the moment. Big damage being done by Kendall Gray. As a reminder, not this weekend, but next weekend we have Bash in Berlin and the women's only PLE Evolution. I've already been able to crown a couple of number 1 contenders, challengers for that match. Make sure you guys check up Raw this week, as lots of surprises. Just in case you guys haven't watched it, I won't spoil it, but it was a great show, as Wendy Chu is now also bleeding. This match is only just getting started. These women are ready to give it all they got. Kendall Gray with a big crossbody. Is now Zeta Steel looking to get on the attack right here. Kendall Gray moving out of the way of Zeta Steel, instead trying to focus on Wendy Chu, who is able to counter right there now. Zeta Steel smacking the crap out of Kendall Gray. Now Wendy Chu was looking to use the kendo stick right there instead of Hurricane Rana by Kendall Gray, who now attacks Zeta Steel, looking for a DDT right there, is able to get it done. Zeta Steel doing some big damage as Wendy Chu now rises. Zeta Steel picks up Wendy Chu and slams her down, a suplex of sorts, and now Wendy Chu may be out. Zeta Steel distracted rather than going and attacking Kendall Gray. Attacks Wendy Chu, which now may allow Kendall Gray to win the match. 1, 2, 3, and Kendall Gray taking down both opponents. In fact, she took down both so dominantly, she could pick who she wanted to pin, and she pins Zeta Steel. And a bleeding Kendall Gray is your new number 1 contender to the Women's Evolve Championship. Callie Armstrong, you now have a challenger, a very dangerous one. See her tonight in this incredible triple threat match. She was able to come out on top against Wendy Chu and Zeta Steel. Congratulations to Kendall Gray. Next up, you're going to see a little bit of some men's singles action. Both of these gentlemen looking to move up the rankings. Been searching for gold, or just looking to get a victory over one another. Not only to move up the rankings, also a little bit of bragging rights sort of match. Both men not necessarily searching a specific title, just looking to move up the rankings. Introducing first, we have Riley Osborne. Then up next, a fan favorite, fan loved, has gotten opportunities for the NXT Heritage Championship, has had opportunities for number one contenders matches for the Men's Evolve Championship. And the fans want us to push him that much more. We have Tommy Invincible here tonight facing off against Riley Osborne. Tommy Invincible has been doing very good in matches. I believe he's only lost 2, if I'm correct. 2 or 3 matches. He lost a Heritage Championship match. He lost the number one contenders match. And as far as I know, that is the only matches that he has lost, if my memory serves me correct. So, you know, it does kind of say that he slips up when the moment is too big. You know, the lights are sometimes too bright, but it also does show that he can be consistent when it comes to these singles matches, which means he just has to, you know, tweak a little bit in order to fully perform at the high-level title scene, number one contender scene. Then we could be having an absolute superstar on our hands. Not saying that he already isn't. I'm just saying, you know, there's those little tweaks he can go ahead and fix in order to become that much better as we begin this match. Riley Osborne, Tommy Invincible, both men trying to get a victory here tonight, trying to move up the rankings. We see Tommy Invincible nice and early, picking up and hitting Riley Osborne with a nice little suplex right there. Big stomps to the head of Riley Osborne. Now a nice little elbow drop by Tommy Invincible. He's now going to go ahead and look to climb the top ropes. He's at the top and a big splash onto Riley Osborne. Big damage done by Tommy Invincible. And man, as I said right when he came out, this guy is absolutely adored, absolutely loved by the fans. A lot of people have been chanting, have been cheering for him over on Raw, on SmackDown, wanting to see him over there. And hey, maybe if he keeps working hard, if he makes those final tweaks that he needs in order to become a champion, in order to become a top star, we may be able to see Tommy Invincible at the main roster level, which would be very exciting, as again, the fans do love him, as Tommy Invincible was trying to get something out of there, not able to get it done. However, this time he may be able to put away Riley Osborne with that big knee. Tommy Invincible is not finished. He wants to put an end to this match nice and early in RKO. Now looking for the pinfall. Is Riley Osborne gonna be able to kick out of this? No. 1, 2, and 3. Tommy Invincible with the victory here tonight over Riley Osborne. Riley not able to do much, and Tommy Invincible with another big victory. However, hopefully he re-watches this match and hears me out and just takes time to adapt to the bigger environment when titles are on their line, when it's a number one contenders match, so that he can go ahead and become that top superstar. I hope he takes this not as hate, but as good criticism in order to go ahead and evolve. You see what I did there? Wednesday Evolve, he wants to evolve. Okay. Well, next up we have some women's singles action. First, we have Indy Hartwell. This match, a very similar situation with this last one with Riley Osborne and Tommy Invincible. 2 women not necessarily close to, any gold. Not fully searching gold in the sense where they're looking for that number one contenders match or whatnot, but a couple wins and they could start building up this, confidence and start moving up the rankings to then eventually go ahead and fight for some gold. It is going to be an interesting match, as her opponent is going to be Valhalla. Seen both of these women at the main roster scene, seen them in NXT. We've seen them a little bit all over the place. Now here tonight on Evolve, we're going to go ahead and move up the rankings, and I just think that with these 2 women here, what an opportunity it would be for them to go ahead and become Women's Evolve Championships and potentially take that title to the main roster. Not only defend it here on Evolve or NXT, but also take it to the main roster, Raw and SmackDown. That would elevate Evolve, that would elevate themselves, the title, so then when the time comes that they unfortunately lose it, if either of these 2 ever win it, well, that title will have lots of value, and whoever ends up defeating them will have to really fight for it. But jumping a little bit too much into the future right there. Again, these women are still quite far from a title, but just looking to move up the rankings right here, trying to move up and see if they can get a win over each other. We have Valhalla against Indy Hartwell here tonight. Some women's singles action. We still have a little bit left here tonight. As I mentioned earlier, we have our tag team #1 contenders match. A lot of teams involved in that, as Cappuccino Jones, Jack Hartwell searching, yearning, trying to find their first opponents to defend their championships against. They are the inaugural WWE Evolve champions. So we're going to go ahead and have to wait and see who their #1 contenders will be. More to come. Heritage Championship on the line. And even bigger announcement, not trying to throw shade or make lesser of the Heritage Championship, but Chad Gable is here tonight, and he will defend his Speed Championship here on Evolve. All that to come later tonight. As for now, we pull our focus on this match right in front of us. Indy Hartwell, Valhalla. As I said, both women trying to move up the rankings. Both very interesting wrestlers, and a match that I think it's very hard to predict, just simply because both of these superstars are so different from each other. Literally yin and yang, that not only can they 100% give us a beautiful, beautiful match here tonight, but also it's like we don't truly know who is better than the other, as I feel like this is a situation on just whose day is it today, right? Monday could be Indies and Valhallas, and they could just swap, being on. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Point being, both of these women have such great talents. They, are literally yin and yang, polar opposites, which means if it's in a position where yang can win, yang will win. But then there's also positions where yin can win. Point being, it is going to be a very unpredictable match. I think I'm just yapping a little too much right there, but hey, gotta talk for a lot more in these shows. I love talking, so that means I love my job. As a nice little suplex of sorts right there from Valhalla, who's climbing the top ropes. Ain't no way she's gonna look to fly from all the way over there, and a big elbow draw. Valhalla is able to reach now looking for the pinfall, but a kick out at one. Indy Hartwell quickly kicking out of that. A little bit of frustration maybe from Valhalla doing all that just to only hear a kick out at one, but she continues her attack. Big knee to the face of Indy Hartwell right there. Let's go ahead and see Valhalla picking up Indy Hartwell, looking to drop a big bullet kick straight to the face. Missile kick straight to the face of Indy Hartwell, and Valhalla is not done now. Absolutely just dislocating and cracking the neck of Indy Hartwell, slamming her down. Big damage has been done so far from Valhalla, as she now picks up and slams down Indy Hartwell, who has to roll outside of the ring in order to catch her breath. Valhalla with a suicide dive, but Indy Hartwell is able to move out of the way right there. Instead, she's going to climb the top ropes. It looked like she was going to look to fly, but Valhalla moving out of the way in time. Now instead, inside of the ring, Valhalla sent straight into the turnbuckle. Indy Hartwell was looking for the big boot right there, not able to get it done. Indy Hartwell is able to get a nice little uppercut right there of sorts, as now this is an opportunity for Indy Hartwell to be able to get on the attack. Charging up, building up, trying to pull something here. A nice boot, now looking to go ahead, and DDT to Valhalla. As Indy Hartwell is not finished, she wants to go ahead and put an end to this match right here, right now, and allow. Oh no, Indy Hartwell. Oh my days. Indy Hartwell is countered, and now suplex, and oh my days, Valhalla out of nowhere. Just when we thought Indy Hartwell will go ahead and win the match, it is Valhalla who is able to switch things around, is able to counter. able to hit a nice little suplex, get the 3 count, is bleeding. But fortunately for her, the bleeding was worth it. She gets the victory here on Evolve over Indy Hartwell. Nice victory. Moving up the rankings. Congratulations to Valhalla. As next up, we have the NXT Heritage Championship on the line. Introducing first the challenger. We have Wesley. We saw this guy go ahead and also face off against Chad Gable. He was basically the person who brought Chad Gable back to defending Speed Championship. Unfortunately for him, came short of it. He failed to go ahead and become the new Speed Championship. But did awaken something in Chad Gable, and while he doesn't win gold, he won something that I believe is bigger long-term wise in his WWE career, and that is a friendship of sorts, or someone who may look out for him, saying, you know what, you did me this favor, whether you tried to or not. Whenever Wesley goes to the main roster, Chad Gable may be there for him, right? That is something that you can go ahead and look at the positives, but nevertheless, here tonight, Wesley has the opportunity to go ahead and become NXT Heritage Champion. Big opportunity for Wesley. We did, as I just said, see Wesley earlier in the championship match. Wasn't able to win. Well, tonight's here be a different outcome. As once again, want to go ahead and remind you, not this weekend, but the next weekend on Saturday, we have Bash at Berlin. Then on Sunday, the women's only PLE Evolution. We've already been able to, set up matches for a women's tag team match, the women's world championship, and the women's intercontinental championship. So make sure you guys stay tuned in, for SmackDown, where we're going to go ahead and see what happens with the Women's United States Championship and the Women's WWE Championship. And stay tuned next week over on NXT to see what happens with the NXT Women's Championship, as we were able to go ahead and crown a new champion, Masha Slamovich, TNA Superstar. Is currently holding NXT Gold, which is insane. At the same time, we do have WWE Superstar Jordynne Grace going ahead and holding TNA Gold. So it's a bit of a, you're going to take some of mine, I'll go ahead and take some of yours. But, we'll see what cooks up with that, as we're going to go ahead and focus on this match. Right in front of us, we have Wesley, the challenger, facing off against Luca Crucifino, the current NXT Heritage Champion. This man has been in phenomenal form, and I've said this, and I will continue to say this. He's been in phenomenal form when it comes to defending his championship week in, week out. Whenever the title is on the line, no one can beat Luca Crucifino. Undefeated when it comes to Heritage Championships. Ever since winning that title, he has not lost a match when it comes to defending it. The one match that he has lost has come in a tag team match alongside Channing Sex Lorenzo. But when it comes to defending his Heritage Championship, Luca Crucifino is a different dog. He's a different beast. He's a different monster. And here tonight, he's looking to go ahead and defend his championship once again. I don't have the exact number of title defenses for Mr. Luca Crucifino. I'm sure he had maybe 3 over on NXT, and then since Evolve went ahead and premiered here on the channel, week in, week out, defending it. This would go ahead and be his, I believe, 5th title defense on Evolve, adding maybe around 3 or 4 over on NXT. You're looking at almost 10 title defenses for Luca Crucifino in such a short span of time, in which we usually see. Usually we'll maybe see at most, this sounds like a joke, but 6 or 7 title defenses, to think about 10 in a whole year is something incredible, especially when Luca Crusifino hasn't held this title since the beginning of the year. He won this a little after WrestleMania. So, I mean, it's still half of the year, but damn, still incredible for Luca Crusifino to be able to do this, to be able to defend his championship so many times here tonight, looking to continue that same outcome against Wesley, a man who is in search for gold. He's already tried the Speed Championship, as we talked about earlier. Now here tonight, trying the NXT Heritage Championship, but at the moment, things are not looking too sharp for him. So Luca Crusifino is fully in control. This man has been able to do some enormous damage onto Wesley, and Wesley's not able to do a damn thing about it. Wesley slowly getting up, but Luca Crusifino's already ready to go ahead and grab a hold of the guy and send him straight into the turnbuckle. Now Wesley is able to counter right there now, allowing Wesley to finally get on the attack. Wesley doing some big damage right there to the left arm of Luca Crusifino, as Wesley's going to go ahead and look to fly right here. Looking to jump over the top ropes. Jumping on top, looking for a missile drop kick, but Luca Crusifino able to move out of the way right there. Instead, it is Wesley who is sent straight into the turnbuckle now. Off of the middle ropes, a big elbow drop. Wesley able to move out of the way, finding small little bits of a comeback here from Wesley. He isn't fully in control, but he is slowly crawling and fighting his way back into this match as Luca Crusifino continuing. And now Wesley trying to hit back, not able to do so. This time he is able to do so. We have a nice back and forth action. Didn't last too long. Instead, Luca Crusifino putting an end to it nice and early. As Luca's not finished, he's going to go ahead and charge up. This could be the end to Wesley and what he thought was going to be an opportunity to become champion. Luca Crusifino looking to put the final nail in the coffin in order to successfully defend his championship one more time. Luca Crusifino is not finished. He wants to make sure that there is no possibility of Wesley kicking out. And another big slam. Ain't no way Wesley kicks out of this. 2, 3, and he doesn't. Luca Crusifino with the victory. Able to beat Wesley here tonight. And is still your NXT Heritage Champion. Congratulations to Luca Crusifino. Another big title defense for the man. Able to get yet another victory here tonight. And now, I mean, just unbelievable from Luca Crusifino to be able to be so dominant as a champion. I mean, once we started showcasing WWE here with on the channel, our first ever champion to be crowned here on the channel was Becky Lynch. That second being Luca Crusifino. And since then, you know, we've had Alexa Bliss, Penta, Dakota Kai, El Hijo de Elia Park, so on and so forth. Till today's day where we have a new women's United States champion. I mean, the only champions who have stayed the same since WrestleMania, I believe, is John Cena. So it's just crazy to think how Luca Crusifino has been able to hold this title just shortly after WrestleMania. So almost the same time as John Cena. This man has done some phenomenal things with the Heritage Championship. So congratulations to Luca Crusifino. And more great things come for him. As next up, talked about the Speed Championship a lot in the last match. We talked about how Chad Gable will go ahead and defend that title here tonight. Well, there it is. Up next, we have Apollo Crews facing off against Chad Gable for the WWE Speed Championship. Again, as a reminder for those who may not know, we had to go ahead and change the rules. Basically, we can't do the time limit here on the channel, unfortunately, just with the way things work. We can't add a time limit to the match. I mean, I could try to work our ways, but it wouldn't be perfect to the point where each match is under 5 minutes or whatever the time may be. So we've just gone ahead and modified the Speed Championship and the way things are done. Simply, the Speed Championship will always be defended in an underground match. If we are doing a number one contenders match, it will be in an underground match. If we're doing a tournament to then declare the number one contender, it will be done in an underground match. Anything to do with the Speed Championship will be done in an underground match. Adding some brutality, adding some blood, some extreme core wrestling to the Speed Championship, which in my eyes makes it a little bit better. So not necessarily always about speed, it's also a little bit about brutality, about strength, about just being crazy and trying to get knockouts and whatnot. Just in case for those who didn't know about the rule changes here on the channel. But we are ready to begin. We have Chad Gable, the current WWE Speed Champion, has held his title for quite some time. He defeated Dragon Lee to go ahead and become the Speed Champion back when he was still under the mask of El Grande Americano. Well, now unfortunately for him, he got unmasked. Lots of bad things happened to him, to American Made, but the one thing that he found hope in, the one thing that he found motivation in, was that Speed Championship again. All thanks to Wesley, who kind of reminded him that he hadn't lost anything, and Chad Gable did have some nice, kind words to say to Wesley because of that. But Chad Gable is here. He's ready to defend his title. Things may have been rough before, but now that he has hit rock bottom, it is only up from here. Here tonight, he's going to go ahead and defend his championship against Apollo Crews. It's going to be a difficult match. Both men are very physically gifted. I mean, they have incredible physiques, and not only do they look good, they're good. You know, they have the strength. You have those people who have very defined muscles, nice build, but they aren't strong. We have people who are very strong, but they don't have defined muscles. These guys are both. They're also agile. They have huge athleticism. I mean, it's insane. Now, here are the underground rules. No countouts, no pinfalls. The only way to win is by knockout, TKO, or submission. We have begun this championship match. Apollo Crews versus Chad Gable. The WWE Speed Championship on the line. This will go ahead and be only the second title defense for Chad Gable with the Speed Championship. As we said, he really put this title on the shelf ever since winning it as El Grande Americano. He was going to go ahead and defend it as El Grande Americano. He got unmasked. There was a bit of a problem on whether he would keep the title, if it would be vacated, because technically El Grande Americano had won. It's not Chad Gable, but since Chad Gable's, it was a whole mess. But at the end, they decided to allow him to keep the title, but he wouldn't defend it as he was still busy fighting the LWO and Dragon Lee. Eventually, American Made split up, but luckily for him and the Speed Championship, it was able to make a little bit of a comeback as Apollo Crews takes a huge hit right there off of the turnbuckle. Apollo Crews has already had a Heritage Championship opportunity against Luca Crucifino, which, again, as we were talking about Luca, he was able to go ahead and successfully defend his title against Apollo Crews. A big showing in a big title defense to be able to get under his belt with the belt. As Chad Gable right here, Apollo Crews battling it out, fighting it out outside of the ring. Big damage being done by Chad Gable right there with a big double X handle straight to the head of Apollo Crews. Now absolutely dislocating the left arm of Apollo Crews right there. Chad Gable bringing the brutality that is needed here now within the new rules of the Speed Championship. Chad Gable has done some big damage. Apollo Crews is taking a sweet time to go ahead and stand up, get back inside of the ring. Fortunately for him, no countouts, so he can take as much time as he wants outside of the ring. The match should go ahead and end outside of the ring if needed, as Chad Gable fighting back right here with some big right fist straight to the face of Apollo Crews, who is now sent almost outside of the ring. Chad Gable going to go ahead and put that final pin, and instead he is counter right there. It did look like he sent Apollo Crews flying, but instead it was Apollo Crews who was able to counter right there, doing some damage, but quickly it is Chad Gable who is back on the attack. Apollo Crews is going to go ahead and have to wake up and realize the championship match has started. If you want some gold, if you want to become the WWE Speed Champion, you got to go ahead and win it right here, right now, not in 20 years from now. This is your opportunity. Don't put it away. It's a nice little move right there from Chad Gable, sending Apollo Crews flying. As now Chad Gable's looking for a big stomp. Instead, he is countered by Apollo Crews. As now Apollo picking it and slamming down. Oh, Chad Gable was reminded of Obafemi right there. Oh, Obafemi. I wonder how he's doing. Wonder if he's close to coming back and finding the team he needs to rule over NXT. As Chad Gable is hyped up, he is charged up, he is ready. He wants to go ahead and put an end to this match. Chad Gable wants to go ahead and look to go ahead and make Apollo Crews tap out. Is he going to be able to get it done as Apollo Crews is struggling right here? Chad Gable has the ankle lock. Chad Gable may be able to go ahead and retain this championship. Apollo Crews is struggling. There is no ropes that he can go and hold in order to break the counts. He simply has to escape. Not even simply. A simple thing would be to grab the ropes. He has to escape. There is no other option here. Escape or tap out, and Apollo Crews is able to escape right there. And that is one of the big things here in the underground type matches here with the Speed Championship. Of course, the first thing you notice, there are no ropes. There are fans around. A very different atmosphere, which creates for a very different title and title defense, and the way that people challenge for this title. Everything is different, which makes this title so special. As a nice little counter DDT right there from Chad Gable, who is not finished. Apollo Crews is absolutely bleeding. Making the mat all messy, and we have Chad Gable going for the ankle lock for the second time in this match. Looking to make Apollo Crews tap. Is Apollo Crews going to go ahead and tap? He does, and that is it. Apollo Crews has tap off of the second ankle lock of the match. And Chad Gable successfully defends his WWE Speed Championship just like that. He is still the WWE Speed Champion. Congratulations to Chad Gable. A good match from both gentlemen, but it was mostly Chad Gable in control. And the result showed as he was able to go ahead and successfully defend his Speed Championship title for the second time in his reign. Congratulations to Chad Gable. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of the night. We have multiple tag teams in this match battling it out to become the #1 contenders to the Evolve Tag Team Championships, currently held by the Cartwheel Cafe, Jack Cartwheel and Cappuccino Jones. They want to go ahead and defend their titles against everyone. But I do believe it is an honor to all of these teams to go ahead and be able to call themselves the first. Some wanting to go ahead and do the first and the last, in the sense that they instantly take those belts off of Cappuccino Jones and Jack Cartwheel. Specifically, I do believe that the team that truly wants to go ahead and rip those belts off of their shoulders is the Vanity Project, who are in this match with Swipe Right. They were in that match to crown the inaugural Tag Team Evolve Champions. Fortunately for them, it was Cappuccino Jones and Jack Cartwheel, the Cartwheel Cafe, who went ahead and instead came out on top, won the match, became the inaugural Tag Team Champions. Well, the first tag team in this match, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, Chase University. Here tonight, these two guys teaming up, former NXT Tag Team Champions, here tonight, looking to go ahead and become the #1 contenders to the Evolve Championships. And that would look incredible to not only have previously held the NXT Tag Team titles, but now currently hold the Evolve Tag Team Championships. If they were able to get it done, that would be a very good look for Chase University, for Chase and Duke Hudson or whatnot. That would be a fantastic look. The second tag team in this match, Gallus, another big team within NXT. They have came down to Evolve looking to dominate. And while they haven't necessarily dominated, they have had some good matches here on Evolve. This is the second tag team here with us. I believe, if I'm correct, there are 4 total tag teams. So it's going to be interesting. There are going to be a lot of superstars in this match. Total of 8 inside of the ring. It's going to be hard to keep up with everything. Well, we'll see how things go, as now the 3rd tag team inside of this match. We were talking about them earlier. Oh, actually, never mind. This is a different tag team. This is TNT, Tyreek and Tyson. These boys we see a lot on NXT. We see them a lot here on Evolve. They're, to me, like right on the line of champions and needing that little bit extra, in the sense that they need a little bit more to become champions, and they could drop a little bit less and go back down to needing a lot more to be champion. You know, they're right down the middle for me. I hate to use this word, but they're mid. Not in the sense that they suck, but they're right down the middle. Right? They're not champions. They're not far from champions. They're not really close from champions. A couple tweaks could make them champions. A couple tweaks could drop them down. It's very down the middle, which is why I call them mid. But nevertheless, a very good tag team. TNT, Tyreek and Tyson, the 3rd tag team in this match. And now, finally, it's going to be the 4th tag team. The tag team we've been talking about since the first match of this show tonight. Back in the triple threat match to find the number 1 contenders for the Evolve Women's Championship. We have Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, representing the Vanity Project. Swipe right. See some people in the crowd throwing them V's up for the Vanity Project here tonight. They are looking to become the number 1 contenders. They want to rule Evolve, and while they headline Evolve, they're constantly in the main event. They're the main attraction of Evolve. The titles don't show for it. Missing the women's. They just missed out on the number 1 contenders opportunity. They missed out on becoming the inaugural Evolve Tag Team Champions. They're not going to want to go ahead and miss out on this number 1 contenders opportunity. So, as much as I have to be down the middle, I'm going to go ahead and put all my eggs in one basket, and that is the basket of the Vanity Project. I think they want so much, they have failed so much, that I think here tonight it's not a question about who will win and if the swipe right, the Vanity Project will win. It's about when they do, because again, as I said, they just failed with the women's title. Sure, Jackson Drake is doing great with the Men's Evolve Championship after a big successful title defense against Harlem Lewis. They also failed with becoming inaugural tag team champions. So 2 L's, 1 victory. They're not going to want to take another one here tonight. But of course, that doesn't mean you have to instantly go ahead and count out everyone else. Tyreek and Tyson, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, Duke Hudson and Andre Chase. Lots of superstars in this ring, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize right now if I miss any of the action, if I go ahead and stumble and mumble over my words. I already do when there's only 2 superstars inside of the ring, so now with 8, there is a high chance that I go ahead and do that 10 times more, so my apologies if that ends up happening. I apologize if I miss any of the action. I only have 2 eyes, and, well, usually, I'm not cross-eyed, so both of the eyes are looking in the same direction at once. So my apologies if I stumble, mumble over my words, if I miss some of the action. As this here is the main event of the night. The number 1 contenders match to the Evolve Tag Team Championships, as the Cartwheel Cafe, Cappuccino Jones, Jay Cartwheel. Definitely going to be keeping a close eye out on this match. They wanted to go ahead and find out who they would defend their championships for the very first time off against. Set up this match. Now here tonight, they are surely watching to see which of these, 4 tag teams comes out on top and is proven themselves against the other 3 tag teams. It is going to be a heck of a crazy match to win. For all teams, very difficult. Having so many superstars, you get rid of one, the next one is up. You get rid of one, you look for the pinfall, you forget about this other guy, he breaks your count. This goes for triple threat, fatal 4-ways, 5-way matches, 6-way tag team matches. It goes for all of this. When there are more than 2 people involved in a match, do think it is very difficult to win, and the stakes are raised up because the value of winning is also up. So overall, going to be a very difficult match for all 4 tag teams: Chase U, Gallus, TNT, and Swipe Right. As we see Brad Baylor doing some big damage right there. I believe that was on Tyreek. Now some big damage onto Mr. Duke Hudson, but Andre Chase right there, ready to break the count. Just as I said, just when you think you got rid of the 2 guys inside of the ring, you forget about the other, what would it be, 5 that are on the outside, excluding yourself. I mean, it is going to be a difficult match to be able to truly see who's going to win the match and see how quickly they can do it. This is going to be a long one. Lots going on as I see. I believe that is Tyreek slamming down Wolfgang. I see Andre Chase doing some big damage onto both Mark Coffey and Brad Baylor. We see Tyreek right here looking for the pinfall, quickly broken up by Andre Chase. The man has already broken up a couple of counts within this match. Now, one more reminder before it is officially the end of the show, before I forget. Of course, not this weekend, rather next weekend. We have on Saturday, Bash at Berlin. Then on Sunday, the women's only PLE Evolution. We have some incredible matches for both of those PLEs, so make sure you guys tune in on these weekly shows to find out what's going to be happening at these PLEs, at these big shows. And then make sure, of course, you guys turn into the PLEs to go ahead and see what happens if we have any title changes, if we see any new rivalries, any ends to rivalries. Of course, we've been talking about how, right now seems to be the time for new champions. In the sense that there are a lot of new champions being crowned right now. And I had previously talked about right now is when a lot of people think it's time to relax. Close to the holidays. They think, I made it almost to the end of the year. This is close enough for me. Can go ahead and finally put the foot on the brake, off of the accelerator, relax for a little bit. And that's what causes so many title changes. And I had said, only the true champions stay champions during this time. So, during Bash at Berlin, with these #1 contenders matches, Evolution, we're going to be able to see who the true champions are, who the true dedicated superstars are. I'm not necessarily saying that they're bad champions. It could also just be simply their opponent caught them off on a bad day. They were better that night. But I do think that there is a trend of multiple new champions, and that is because of this relaxation going around near the holiday season. Is a lot of stuff is going on right now. We see Duke Hudson over on the left-hand side sending Mark Coffey flying now, hopping inside of the ring. We see Tyson and Tyreek absolutely bowling Wolfgang. Andre Chase doing big damage right there to Tyreek. Now it is Duke Hudson doing some damage onto Tyson, I believe. And now we see Ricky Smokes, Duke Hudson battling it out. Duke Hudson slamming down Ricky Smokes, now looking for the pinfall, very quickly broken by Wolfgang before the referee can even get down on the mat to even count to 1. Lots of damage has been done. I do believe Swipe Right, Wolfgang, Mark Coffey with Gallus, those 2 teams, in my opinion, have definitely taken the most damage within this match at the moment. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean they're out. Things happen, especially when the match is this intense. Crazy things can go ahead and happen out of nowhere, and either of these teams could still come back. Just because of taking the most damage does not mean they're fully out. At the moment, Wolfgang, Mark Coffey are making a slight comeback, doing some big damage onto, I believe that was Tyreek, and onto Duke Hudson, as well as Brad Baylor as a diamond cutter hit by Ricky Smokes onto Tyreek. Big damage being done inside of the ring by Ricky Smokes. Now onto Andre Chase. There are multiple men down inside of the ring. It is TNT, both inside, doing big damage. However, Ricky Smokes, may be able to get... he was trying to slip through. I said excuse me because he just made his way through, like when you're at an event trying to get to the front of the line. You're just saying, excuse me. Little do they know you're cutting in line. And Andre Chase able to get a count of 2 right there. Mark Coffey, though, able to kick out. Now Andre Chase taking some damage of his own. Just when you think you have the opportunity to be able to make the count, either your opponent kicks out, someone interrupts. I mean, there are so much things that could go wrong. And right there for Andre Chase, it did go wrong as Tyreek is looking for the pinfall. But it is broken up. He could have won the match right there, but it was broken up thanks to the slam. And the man that was slammed down was Andre Chase. Duke Hudson right there, able to go ahead and break another count. Things are getting messy. All superstars are inside of the ring. All 4 tag teams battling it out, doing some big damage here tonight. Who will be crowned the new #1 contender to the WWE Evolve Tag Team Championships? As Brad Baylor was able to slam down Chase. And now, Tyree trying to go ahead and steal the pinfall right there. Quickly broken up by both Brad Baylor and Mark Coffey. See Duke Hudson, only man outside of the ring at the moment, laying down. That man has been beat up as well. Did say a couple moments ago, we talked about who had taken the most damage. By now, it is a whole lot more evened out. And the longer that this match lasts, the more everyone's going to be beat up. And I guess the more things get evened out for those who may have not done as much damage on the earlier half of the match and have taken a lot more damages right here. Andre Chase doing some big damage onto Wolfgang. Ricky Smokes looking for the pinfall right there on top of Duke Hudson. Andre Chase running. No way. Swipe right have done it. Andre Chase thought he could counter a pinfall with another pinfall. That's not how it works, buddy. 1, 2, 3. Swipe right are your new #1 contenders to the Evolve Tag Team Championships. Cartwheel Cafe, watch out because you have a new opponent. Well, not too new. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.